right, baby girl, we are back at it. Let's go. This is gonna be like nothing we've ever seen before.
Are you ready to see your fixer-upper?
Fixer-upper, welcome home. Only on Discovery Plus.
Meet your next pillow. Why do we make our pillow in the shape of a cube? I'll tell you. The problem with pillows is that you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole, or rather a pillow-shaped peg into a shoulder-shaped hole. This is Sydney.
Hello.
Look at the space between her head and her shoulder. It's a square. None of these rounded pillows are going to fit that space perfectly. They're going to cause her to bend her neck, flop her...
And we're back. Type a 1 in the chat room if you can hear the sound of my voice right now. Welcome to the live stream for WandaVision Episode 4. And 1. Okay, cool. This was a big one. Before we get to that, I have a couple updates for you. I got a health update. I finished the meds I was on last week. I finished those yesterday, and once again, they were semi-effective, not completely effective. They helped a little bit, but they didn't fix anything, really. I do feel kind of better, I guess. The problem is, like, almost tolerable, I guess, but that was the last option, and so now I guess it's sinus surgery. Yay. So I got that scheduled on the March 5th. So hopefully that fixes the problem. If it doesn't, I don't know, I might be stuck with this. God help me. So that's where I'm at. In the meantime, you guys got me thinking about that Winx Club thing. I couldn't let that go. There is a proper review coming of Fate the Winx Saga, because I don't know, I had a lot of thoughts about it. And, yeah, so that's coming. I'm going to try to record that tonight after I get done with this. So that'll be coming in the next couple of days. And, oh god, we got another Batwoman episode to review tomorrow night. Jesus Christ. Whatever. That's not right now. Let me minimize this. Alright, you guys came here for WandaVision Episode 4 thoughts. So, as usual, I will talk about the episode, give you my thoughts on the episode. I'm going to go through everything. I'm going to spoil everything. And then we'll do super chats and comments afterward. So, without further delay, let's get into it. WandaVision Episode 4. You know how I said last week how I wanted Episode 4 to be from S.W.O.R.D's perspective, so they could show all the behind-the-scenes stuff and like start revealing what's really going on and answering some of the questions I was having? Well, Episode 4 is from S.W.O.R.D's perspective, where they show all the behind-the-scenes stuff and start revealing what's really going on and answering some of the questions I was having. And if there were questions that didn't get answered, it's because the characters themselves were asking those same questions and trying to figure them out. It's as if the writers watched the stream and wrote exactly the episode I was hoping for. How about that? Isn't that something? So I basically just did a total 180 with this show. as of this episode. I've been getting a little bit impatient with it, but now it looks like they just moved into second gear, and just in time, too, because the sitcoms... so this was just what the doctor ordered. So anyway, it begins with Geraldine / Monica Rambeau getting reformed and returning to life after she was snapped by Thanos. And she wakes up in a hospital, and remember how Spider-Man Far From Home played all the people who got snapped returning for laughs and just made a big joke out of it? Yeah, they don't do that here. This was kind of horrifying, actually. The hospital is just going crazy. It's complete chaos. And Monica is desperately looking around for her mother, who was coming out of surgery when she got snapped. And the surgery was, she was told the surgery was successful, so she finds the doctor, and he says, like, oh my god, Monica, you're back. And Monica has to find out from her that her mom died 3 years prior because her cancer came back. So she died she died after Monica got snapped. That is a rough break. So, excuse me. So we fast forward a couple weeks, and we go to Sword HQ. Monica turns out is a Sword agent, as that's her career. So the MCU's version of Sword seems to be a little bit different from the comics. This version seems to deal more with weapons and technology than aliens. At least this branch of Sword does. So Monica's ID badge doesn't work, and the guy at the front desk gets a little snippy with her for some reason, but her boss, Tyler Wayward, recognizes her and brings her in. And they pass her mom's photo on the wall. Monica Photon Rambeau. Wink. Good superhero name, but pretty bizarre call sign for a pilot. Just saying. Anyway. So Wayward talks about how their astronaut program is going down the shitter with everyone moving away from manned missions to robotics. I'm not sure how that applies to what's going on in this show, or even if it does at all, but the organization is in a bit of a rut. So that's something to file away for future reference. That might be important. Anyway, things are a bit awkward between these two at the moment because apparently Maria, Monica's mother, built Sword from the ground up. I guess it was her baby. And Monica was the obvious choice to replace her, but then she got snapped. So she went away, and this guy got the job instead. So to his credit, he's humble about it. He doesn't act like a jerk or anything, but he was not the first choice for the job, which they'll be drawing attention to a little bit later on. So for her first gig back, Wayward gives Monica some boring assignment helping the FBI with a missing person case, and they need somebody to operate a drone for them. And this is all, a lame-ass ground mission because Monica's mom had a protocol in place that in the event that any agents who got snapped returned, they should be grounded. That's fair and logical for a number of reasons, so I don't take issue with it. And Monica's not thrilled about it, but she gets it. So she doesn't make it a big thing either. So Monica drives to New Jersey and meets with the FBI agent on the case, which turns out to be Agent Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Awesome. I like that guy a lot. So his missing person was in witness protection when they vanished off the face of the earth, and then things got really weird really fast because everyone who should know this person, friends and family and whatnot, suddenly don't know him. And also, he's got cops here who are saying that the town of Westview, New Jersey does not exist. As far as they know, it's just not a thing. They say this while standing next to a big sign of Westview, New Jersey. So something screwy going on here. Woo has not gone into the town himself to investigate because the town doesn't want him to. He can just feel it. So, that's what they need the drone for, to investigate. So Monica breaks out a helicopter drone. Looks an awful lot like the one Wanda found in episode 2. So she flies it into the town, but it disappears behind that energy barrier that we saw at the end of the last episode. So Monica is weirded out by this, she touches the barrier, gets sucked into it, and disappears herself. So the town doesn't want Jimmy Woo, but it'll take Monica? I think Westview, New Jersey is racist. So this is good stuff so far. Already they're answering questions. Now we know where Geraldine came from, where the helicopter came from, and that the town Wanda and Vision are living in is an actual town that's been taken over. It's not some compound that S.W.O.R.D set up. It's been co-opted by somebody. And there's more answers coming too, and I'm here for it. Let's do this. This is what I've been waiting. Can't talk. This is what I've been waiting for. There we go. So we cut to a truck of experts being called in, people from various fields. They don't really know what they're dealing with, so they got like people from every field. And one of them is Darcy from the Thor movies, the first two anyway. And some people may not be thrilled to see this character again, but it'll turn out to be a good thing. Trust me. I never thought her character was bad. I think she was just an awkward fit with the Thor movies, but they put her in this situation, she fits right in. And, personally, I like it when characters from one movie show up in another project, when there's a reason for it. It's all connected, remember? Darcy's an astrophysicist now, S.W.O.R.D's bringing in all kinds of different experts, they don't know exactly what the situation is, so they're just trying to cover all the bases, and, Darcy's much more inner element here than she was in, say, Thor the Dark World, for example. So that they arrive on site, and S.W.O.R.D has cordoned off the whole town, so it's all a perimeter now. And Darcy sets up her gear, and when she asks a S.W.O.R.D agent what kind of data they're getting from the drones, he's a bit of a dick about it and says it's all classified, which she knows means that they're not getting anything. I don't know why he couldn't just tell her that, but whatever. So Darcy hooks her stuff up, and she picks up a huge amount of cosmic microwave background radiation. So she pulls out this super old scanner thing that looks older than she is, and picks up the WandaVision sitcom from episode 1. Excuse me. Then she asks someone to get her a very old TV. Not a flat screen, like a real old school one. The ones that were like huge, like this big. So just a few minutes in, and I'm already loving this. This is literally the exact episode I wanted. So later on, we have Hayward sending agents into the town through the sewer system. Clever idea. Jimmy Woo tells him he's not confident about this mission. He thinks there's no reason He says there's no reason to suspect that the barrier doesn't extend underground. So go right through the earth all the way. That's a fair point. Hayward says there's no reason to think that it does. But yeah, not that he's done anything to actually test that theory. He hasn't. He very easily could check before sending agents in, but he doesn't. And Woo doesn't like the idea of sending more agents in when the first one hasn't even returned, because they don't know what's going on in there. They don't know if Monica's still alive or what. But Hayward isn't really listening to him. Not really taking his advice seriously. So it's not just Westview, New Jersey that's racist, is it? I see how it is. Why do you hate Asian people, WandaVision? I kid. So when no one can get Wayward a useful visual on the science machine, that's my refrigerator if you hear that. It's loud as hell. So they can't get him a useful visual, so he starts getting impatient very quickly, and then attention turns to the sitcom that Darcy is watching on an old vintage TV. And what I love about this is they immediately start asking all the right questions and pointing out all the things that need to be pointed out. Hey, Vision is there. Isn't he supposed to be dead? Not snapped, but dead? That's messed up. What's going on with that? Is the show itself happening in real time? Is it authentic? Is it a fake? Darcy doesn't know. But the fact that they're posing all these questions at all shows that the writers know that the audience wants to know these things, so that's good. And so Hayward is already developing a bit of a short fuse. So he starts barking orders while Wu is the only one to tell Darcy that she actually did good work here, finding out their first real clue as to what's going on. Because Jimmy Woo is a good guy. Then the WandaVision sitcom goes to the credits, and we're seeing the screen over Darcy's shoulder. And that was the shot that episode 1 ended on. So they're beginning to connect all the dots that have been scattered around for 3 episodes. I love it. Awesome. Let's keep this up. So they start running facial recognition to ID the other players in WandaVision, while Wu is writing on a whiteboard trying to parse out clues and determine what they do and don't know, and the Skrulls is one of the possibilities. Did you notice that? Did you see that? It Skrulls written up on the board, and this all tells us that the people in town are just going along with this. They're not sword agents. They're not actors. They're not people who... they're just normal people who are stuck in there by happenstance. And it also shows that Wu is a smart guy who's considering every option. Vision seemingly returns from the dead? Yeah, he might be a Skrull for all they know, so it makes sense that they'd think about that. So then Monica shows up in the WandaVision sitcom as Geraldine. Darcy and Wu speculate on whether she's undercover or something, and what's going on with that? Is it another dimension? Is it time travel? Is it a crazy social experiment? None of those possibilities seem all that far-fetched. That's the crazy thing. And this is great, because these are all questions I've been asking, and a lot of fans have been asking since the show started. They're finally working on the mystery and trying to figure it out using intelligence, logic, and basic common sense. Things you almost never see in a show like Batwoman, for example. This is good writing. Thank you. So Wu gets an update from somebody. It's from the most recent episode of WandaVision, where Wanda's finding the drone in a bush. And the drone has been transformed into a retro model now. So it looks all like old-fashioned and stuff. And again, they ask the obvious questions. Why is it retro? Why is it in color? We don't know yet, but only because the characters themselves have not figured this out. Darcy gets an idea, and sciences a way to send Wanda a message through the radio. So, when WandaVision reaches the episode where they're having that meeting at the swim club, meeting Dottie for the first time, Jimmy tries to contact Wanda through the radio, so they connected that dot. Darcy notices something weird when Dottie is momentarily shaken when, her hand gets cut open, but she can't put her finger on what. So it's like the spell was broken just for a second, but they're still confused as to what that is. Then we go to the sword agent in the sewer as he's passing through the barrier, and the safety line that they attach to him gets severed. And then suddenly he's covered with bees. I don't know where the bees are coming from. I don't know what that's about yet. So that's still a question mark. So the agent emerges from the sewer, and the world is momentarily back in color. And then it switches to black and white, and they replay the end of episode 2 from the agent's perspective when Wanda says, no, and rewinds time a couple minutes. I don't know what happened to the agent after Wanda rewound the clock. Does everything get rewinded? Did he, like back up through the sewer and through the barrier back to the compound? I don't know. We don't see him again. So that's something I'm wondering about. So Darcy and Wu are now watching WandaVision episode 3. Darcy is wondering why they keep switching time periods from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s. Good question. I've also been asking that. Let's figure this out. So Darcy and Wu are basically the audience surrogates right now. They're saying everything that the audience has been saying, and I kind of love them for that. So Wu notes that he can't believe they're having a baby. Unfortunately, they never wonder how this is even possible, which is something I need answered. Okay, is Vision anatomically correct? Is he capable of reproduction with a human woman? Weirdly enough, Paul Bettany said recently that at one point when they were doing Age of Ultron, Joss Whedon wanted Vision to come out of being birthed with a penis. That did not make the final cut, but that was at least an idea that was being floated around. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Vision doesn't have male genitals, I guess, so maybe he can have kids? I mean, who the hell knows? So they get to the part where Geraldine mentions Ultron, and Wu ponders if that's happened before, meaning references to our reality. Is that the first time this has happened? And here's where things get really interesting, because WandaVision, the show, not the official show, but the sitcom, the show within a show, it reaches the point where Wanda wants Geraldine to leave. So Wanda advances at her threateningly, and then the sitcom just abruptly cuts to the credits. And Darcy notes that someone is censoring the broadcast, and she's right, that someone is Wanda. So they rewind, and they pause the show on Wanda's face, right? Then there's an alarm, so they all run outside. And the sitcom starts going again, picks up where it left off. So we're back inside WandaVision, and things are getting downright creepy. Because Wanda asks Monica how she knows about Ultron. Monica has no answer. So Wanda lights up her powers, and they look like they should this time, like they do in the movies. Wanda says, "You're not my neighbor. You're definitely not my friend. You're a stranger. You're an outsider. You're trespassing. I want you to leave." And holy gods, Elizabeth Olsen is terrifying in this scene. This got like... This turned into like a legit suspense movie all of a sudden. Like, so she blasts Monica through several walls and out of the town completely. I'm not sure how Monica survived that. Realistically, that should have broken her spine into a million pieces. But you know, we can assume that Wanda simply chose to do it in a non-lethal way. Because I'm assuming she has the power to do that somehow. Like, she doesn't want to hurt Geraldine. She just wants her out of there. So Wanda looks at the holes she just blasted in the wall. And there's some really terrific acting here. She seems like she's not quite sure what she just did. Like, she's aware of it on some level, but maybe not consciously just yet. So she repairs the walls with her powers, and she looks scared. But there's also a dawning comprehension there. Like, it's finally all clicking into place. Like, the answers are right there, but she's afraid to acknowledge them completely. And then Vision walks in, wonders where Geraldine went, and there's a moment where you can just tell by Wanda's face that suddenly she's finally aware of what's going on, but now she's continuing to play along and maintain the facade because this is what she wants. It's a really great bit of acting by Elizabeth Olsen here. Really great. Then she turns around, and Vision is dead. And I mean, he's corpse Vision, with the Infinity Stone ripped out of his head. Like right after Thanos killed him. It's that Vision. And Wanda looks down, like horrified by this, for just a second. Then she looks back, and then suddenly Vision is back to normal. So it's starting to look like this whole situation is some kind of weirdly elaborate coping mechanism, so Wanda can avoid dealing with the trauma of everything that happened in Avengers Endgame, and even before that too. Like losing Vision, losing her brother. Maybe all that trauma just piled up and piled up. You know, and also the thing with almost being killed by the Stark weapon, and then going through what she went through with Hydra. Like, everything. I mean, she's had a rough couple of years. So everything just compounded in on itself, and after a while it just broke something in her brain, and that caused her powers to evolve and go out of control somehow. And this was a theory that a lot of people had before the show began. So that's looking like what's happening right now. So Vision says, you know, Wanda, we don't have to stay here. We can go wherever we want. But Wanda says, no, we can't. This is our home. Are you sure? Don't worry. I have everything under control. So we go back to Monica, who's just been thrown through the barrier, and she says, it's Wanda. It's all Wanda. And so we finally have confirmation that Wanda's the one doing this. Official confirmation. She's the one doing this. It's not being done to her. And I know we all pretty much figured that anyway, but it's nice to have... It's nice to have confirmation. And then we're back in WandaVision for the final scene. Wanda asks Vision what they should watch tonight. Just innocently enough. And just for a second, Vision looks terrified. Wanda's starting to scare even him, and it's not clear if he even understands what's going on completely. But he knows something's weird about this situation, and it's starting to scare the crap out of him too. So they sit down, turn on the TV, and then break the fourth wall looking right into the camera at the audience. This episode was great. Great. This was exactly what they needed. Exactly what I wanted. Things were moving along too slowly. I mean, they were setting things up in the first 3 episodes, but it was the pacing was too slow. The sitcom stuff was wearing thin. This is what needed to happen. They answered questions that needed to be answered. They asked new questions that needed to be asked. So now we understand what's going on, at least partially. So things make sense now. We know what the stakes are. The story feels a lot bigger. Wanda feels like a whole new can of worms all of a sudden. What we learn about here adds a whole different dimension to this. And thanks to Alex for pointing this out. They may have done something very sneaky here where Wanda might not be the victim in all this. She might turn out to be the villain. Not your typical mwahaha type bad guy, but someone with a really dangerous amount of power who's becoming unstable, uncontrollable, and just batshit insane. What the hell do you do with someone like that? It's not that far off from the comics version, come to think of it. And there's a lot of possibilities here. Now, is the issue coming up of Wanda can't be allowed to continue like this? I mean, I know it's not fun to think about, but do we consider trying to put her down before her powers just rage out of control and start like hurting people? That's a hell of a dilemma to think about. I love this episode. This was the turning point of the show for me. I was getting impatient for a while. I'm fully invested now. If we keep going in this direction, I think it's only going to get better from here. Well done, WandaVision. Well done. Okay, back to the top. And, okay, alright, we got our 2 super chats. Manohar Rajan. I hope I pronounced that right, dude. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm terrible with names. But thank you for the $9.99. And thank you for the $19.99 as well. We got another super chat from Manohar Rajan. Again, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. Please forgive me. Excuse me. Do you think you can do defense videos on the Amazing Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Far From Home? I don't think Homecoming and Far From Home need defense videos. I mean, they seem to be fairly well regarded by most people, I think. Amazing Spider-Man, I mean, I guess I could. Because I like that movie. It seems like a lot of fans don't. I honestly prefer Amazing Spider-Man 1 to any of the Raimi movies. I think I'm in the minority on that one, but I feel the way I feel. So I could do that at some point. No plans to do it in the immediate future. I think most of it would probably just be me criticizing the Raimi movies. And, somebody else already did a great video doing that. All the ones, everyone can hear me in the chat room. What happened to you? What did you get? Oh, I don't really know. I got sick from something last June, and it just, it's never really gone away. Kind of felt like a sinus infection turned up to, like, 15. So it's felt like my head has been in a vice for about 6 months now. That's one of the symptoms. So that's kind of diminished a little bit. Most of the really piercing, painful areas have been alleviated, but it's still, there's a lot of pressure there that just won't go away. I can breathe a little better right now, but that comes in fits and starts. Sometimes there's a lot of congestion up there, sometimes there isn't. So I also had like a hypersalivation issue that felt like the meds were clearing up for like a day or two, but then it just came right back. So I'm really crossing my fingers now that the surgery will fix whatever this is. If it doesn't, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do after that. Try a different doctor maybe. 'Cause I've been to 2 different ones. Good luck with the surgery. Well, thank you. Thank you. We're not there yet. It's that'll be in March. Yeah, whenever you're ready with those stimulus checks, Biden, because I don't know how much of this my insurance is going to cover, if it'll cover it at all. So a new stimulus check would be very helpful, because I already got some medical bills sitting on my floor here that I've not gotten around to paying yet, because I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for them. Fate the Winx saga was meh. Not awful, but not good either. Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I think, yeah, I talked about it last week. I don't know if you were here for that. But I gave a few thoughts about it in the stream from last Saturday. And I've kind of rethought a couple of them since then. I took another look at the show. And I think I understand now where most of the problems stem from, and I'm not gonna go in depth to that. You guys can watch the video when I make it, but I think they all kind of stem from one place, and if they just fixed that, this could have been a far more enjoyable viewing experience, I think. But that's all I'll say for now. Missed the funny Supergirl reviews. Yeah, a lot of people mention that. It sucks that I had to stop making them, but I mean they kept getting claimed. So I mean really there wasn't much point in continuing on until YouTube lightens up those content restrictions. It's like an exercise in futility really, because this is how I make money. I'm trying to be able to make enough money with this to be able to call it my regular job, and when the Supergirl reviews get claimed before they even finish processing. It's like, okay, well, there's several weeks of work for no payoff whatsoever, So it was frustrating. But, for practicality reasons, it just made more sense to focus on videos I could make quicker and actually monetize. Episode 4 for me turned WandaVision from an interesting show to a really interesting show, and I'm invested now. Yeah, so we're... We're headed in the right direction. And, hold on, I think we have another super chat. Hold on. Oh, we got a couple. Okay, sorry. Michael West with another super chat. Again, I don't know what currency that is, but thank you for the 5 units of, this currency. This is why Vision is acting more comedy now, because Wanda's using his dead body. Also, Wanda has, been in that town, so about 5 years. What? No, not 5 years. I mean, this is... No, Wanda got snapped, right? Yeah. Yeah, Wanda got snapped. So, she reappeared 5 years later, and then she would have immediately been whisked off to that, the final fight with Thanos in Endgame. And then she would have disappeared to start doing WandaVision. So I don't think it hasn't been 5 years. At most we're talking a couple of weeks here, because that's when Jimmy Woo became aware of this situation. So, no, hasn't been 5 years. As for Vision, you might be right about that. Because we don't know what's going on with Vision yet. Has he been resurrected somehow? Or is this just like a projection of Wanda's mind and he's not real? Because if he was just a projection, I don't think he would be aware of what's happening. Because we saw in this episode where he looked scared at how Wanda was acting that he does have some kind of self-awareness in this situation. So I think it's more likely that she resurrected him from the dead. If she can do that now, it raises the question of why she doesn't bring Quicksilver back. Maybe they couldn't get the actor, or maybe that's coming later. We don't know. But it's possible that Vision's acting more comedic as a counterpoint to Wanda acting darker. So far, so good. John Wheeler, thank you so much for the $15. Episode 4 rolls credits. Everybody over 30 in WO. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too. Voodoo Child playing. Got a little annoyed because that used to be Hogan's music in WCW. No, please, nothing that reminds me of Hogan. Please, no. Let's see. Gamerman X9000, thank you for the $2. What would be one thing you would change about Arrow? Okay, going back a few years. One thing I would change about Arrow? Every season after season 2, I changed something about it. I would definitely change a lot of things they did with Felicity. Because for the first 2 seasons, she was my favorite character. You know, she was legitimately charming and funny and likable. And then after that, things really took a bad turn. Not that the romance with her and Oliver didn't work, but it wasn't well written a lot of the time. And some things they had Felicity did just made her just really, it just made you want to smack her sometimes. Like when she broke up with Oliver initially, because he made a decision about what to do with his son without consulting her. It's like, oh, I guess I don't get a say in this? Really? Like, no, it's not your kid. You don't get a say in this. But then she breaks up with him over that. It just made her look delusional and needy and just very unlikable. And then a lot of other stuff is just they elevated her character too much. They tried to make her the lead female, and they tried to make her like put her in a lead role, and it felt like an awkward fit. And she was she was clearly the producer's favorite character, and they put so much emphasis on her love life and all that stuff. It was too much Felicity. She was good in the first 2 seasons, but then the character just kind of took on a life of its own. It was just too damn much, and she went from charming and likable to just really annoying. And after a while, I just wanted her to go away. So I would have definitely, had I been running Arrow at the time, I definitely would have rethought a lot of the Felicity stuff. Manohar Rajan with another super chat, $14.99 this time. Thank you so much, my friend. One thing I will admit is Thanos is Marvel's most interesting villain in a long time. Same with Killmonger. All right, yeah, absolutely. I would also put Wilson Fisk on that list. Kingpin. Who in my opinion is the best Marvel villain. Kingpin from Daredevil. Thanos is in that conversation though, absolutely. Killmonger also excellent. Yeah, so Marvel's been doing a better job with their villains. For a while, their villains all kind of fell into the same type of category. Yeah, they were not terribly dynamic. All kind of felt a little bit similar. But they've been doing better recently with villains like Thanos and Vulture and Killmonger, Wilson Fisk, Kilgrave also. They've been doing a better job recently. Okay. Yeah, I just started watching Fate the Winx Saga. It's actually pretty okay. I don't recall any of my knowledge about the cartoon, but the Netflix series is okay. Yeah, it's strange. I've seen a lot of varying opinions about that, but they're all kind of extreme opinions. Like, you know, I'll watch, I'll look at a video about that, and there's a lot of people in there who really love the show. But then I'll see lots of videos of people just hating on it. Because, you know, it's not like the cartoon, it's a terrible adaptation. I did look at a few minutes of the cartoon after the stream last week, by the way. Yeah, that is not like the live-action version at all. I can see why fans are weirded out by it. But the more I thought about it, the more I was kind of in the middle on it. Like, yeah, there are aspects of this that are not that bad, really. Again, most of the problems stem from one issue. I'll talk about it in the review when I do it. Okay. Okay. Well, Super Chat's getting ahead of me. Jokage13, Jokage? I'm sure I butchered that. I'm sorry. Jokage13, thank you for the $5. Going with the CW again, how is it that you have the opportunity to reboot Batwoman and not even think of using Barbara Gordon? It seems so easy. Well, it's possible that they weren't allowed to use Barbara Gordon because they may have, I think they have, there may be tentative plans to use her in the DCEU movies. Because I heard one rumor that they're gonna, after Flashpoint, they're gonna do a soft reboot of Batman with Michael Keaton becoming the DCEU Bruce Wayne, and he's gonna be training Barbara Gordon as the primary Bat character in the field or something. So that might be a reason. Another reason could be that they're just not smart enough to do it. And really, considering what they did to Kate Kane, would you really want to give these writers Barbara Gordon? Do you really think... Do you really want to know what they do to screw her up? Because I don't know a lot about Kate Kane from the comics. I suspect she's probably not as insufferable as Kate in the show was. I don't think I'd want to give these writers Barbara Gordon. Look what they've done with other Batman characters. Look what they did to Tommy Elliott, for crying out loud. No, Barbara Gordon can stay far away from this show. That is fine with me. Is that there's one... Because the really nice thing about Ryan Wilder is that she's a new character, so there's nothing for them to ruin. They can just... If they want to butcher her to death, go right ahead. There's nobody in the comics that's gonna suffer for this. I think they actually did introduce Ryan as a comics character, but she's brand new now, so... They can do whatever with her. She's a blank slate. Michael West, thank you for another 2 units of whatever that currency is. Is that why the show is rated PG? Which show? Which show? WandaVision? Or one of the other ones we're talking about? I don't know. I assume you mean WandaVision. Well, I mean, I think most of the Marvel projects fall into that kind of area. I think sometimes you're oscillating between PG and PG-13. I don't think they haven't done an R-rated movie yet. Plus, I mean, we're also on Disney Plus here. They're not going to get oppressively dark on that either. Because Marvel likes all their projects to be kind of tonally consistent. So I don't suspect we'd be going in that direction anyway. Excuse me. Which is going to be kind of an issue when they start doing X-Men movies, because X-Men stories, by their nature, are going to have to be a little darker than, you know, Ant-Man and the Wasp, for example. Because they deal with themes like prejudice and racism and all that stuff. I mean, some of the episodes of X-Men the Animated Series were dark as hell. So that's going to be a conversation, because there are X-Men stories that could easily, no question, be R-rated. Because like if you wanted to do the Morlock Massacre, for example, that's an R rating. The Genosian Genocide, that's an R rating. So there's gonna. I would hope there'd be conversations about that at least. John Wheeler, thank you for the $15. Another $15. Holy moly. Voodoo Child at the end confirms Wanda's heel turn for me. Yes, absolutely. Anything that associates her with Hollywood Hogan. Boo, Wanda. Boo. You're no more babyface for you. No. You're done. I'm probably going to start watching WandaVision. It seems the writers have picked up the pace. Oh, so you haven't been watching it yet, but you tuned in for the stream anyway. Thank you. Off topic, but why do you want Alexander Skarsgård as Sabretooth? I don't get it. I just think he's perfect for the part. I think he's a huge guy. I think he's well over 6 feet tall. He has the look. Blonde. He looks like Sabretooth. You know, I think he's got the chops to play him based on what I saw in True Blood. You know, physically he looks right. You know, he just feels like Sabretooth to me. And some people are saying that stream is glitching out. 1 second. Says the connection's good. Might be on your end, dude. Just try refreshing the stream if it's not working for you. All right. Sorry. How can her mother be a pilot but the founder of S.W.O.R.D.? Didn't buy it. Well, they kind of hinted at that because there was... It seems like at one point, like, S.W.O.R.D. had, like, a space division. Like, a part of it were astronauts. So, they were sending people into space. It's a hop, a skip, and a jump away from pilot to astronaut. Yeah, that's not hard to imagine. So, I mean, it's realistic that she could have gone from one thing to another, and then from there just started a different program and built it up. I mean, you can... It's not that hard of a... It's not that big of a leap to make. She was friends with Captain Marvel and had knowledge and access to S.H.I.E.L.D., so she would have connections and knowledge. Yeah, there you go. Can you wear that star bag with holes in the eyes in from the new... Yeah, you know, yeah, that bag, that is from Macy's. That's a jacket I bought. Weird thing is, I bought it like months ago, like when it was still warm out. Yeah, I bought it for the winter because I've been wearing the same ratty sweatshirt for literally, God, I don't know how long it's been. Probably over 10 years. So it's been, I figured it was just time to get something a little bit nicer. Plus it was on sale. It was like 130 something marked down to like $50. So I bought it even though it's kind of big. It's like 2 sizes too big, but for a deal like that, I just bought it and I haven't worn it yet. It's just been sitting there. I just got attached to my ratty old sweatshirt. I'm gonna wear it at some point. That's good. All right. Kat Dennings is in WandaVision episode 4. I'm sold. Yeah, nice to see Kat Dennings getting a little bit of love. I think she got some crap for her role as Darcy in the Thor movies. I didn't think she deserved that. And yeah, the character didn't quite fit in there. That wasn't really her fault. I don't think there was anything wrong with her. It was just not a situation where she really needed to be. I thought she fit right in with Sword. I'd like to see, like at the end of WandaVision, I'd like to see Darcy get recruited by Sword and be like a Sword agent. I think that'd be a much better place for her. Who really is the villain in WandaVision? Well, we don't really know. If there's a villain at all, it's probably Wanda. I don't really think there is a traditional villain. It's just like a badness that's out there. Because Wanda has a lot of power, and she's clearly losing control of her. Well, she's losing her grip on her sanity, basically. And what do you do with someone who has a lot of power and isn't really in control of herself? That could be a question that they have to ask themselves. So it's kind of like like Buffy season 6, where there isn't really a traditional bad guy, but there is a badness that's happening. Unpopular opinion: Thor: The Dark World is better than The Incredible Hulk. Here's a more unpopular opinion. I don't think either of those movies are that bad. I don't really understand why people don't like The Incredible Hulk. I know maybe they hadn't really nailed down the Marvel formula just yet. I think it's a perfectly serviceable movie. Thor: The Dark World, I mean, I always go back to the stuff with Loki. I think is very good in that movie. Yeah, the villain wasn't so hot, but the Loki stuff always saves it for me. People shit on the Dark World all the time. I don't think it's that bad. I really don't. Okay. Do you think WandaVision is another Stargirl situation that gets better as the season progresses? Well, so far, yeah. Plus, I don't think it was bad and then got good suddenly. I think they were just laying the groundwork for stuff that was going to happen later on, and they just took a little bit too long. I think the problem with the first 3 episodes was just pacing. Because they locked themselves into this format of doing a different show from a different decade every episode. And once you do that, you're kind of stuck with it. And before you know it, 3 episodes have gone by, and you haven't really advanced the plot all that much. You know, they've planted seeds for stuff that was going to happen, but until you get to that payoff, it felt like a really slow burn. Now we've got the Now we've got the payoff, so the whole landscape changes. That's not really what was going on with Stargirl. Stargirl had a lot of issues starting out, and they had to... the show had to fix itself, basically. And to their credit, I think they pulled it off. Thorias Unlimited is more entertaining than actual shows. Thank you so much. I try my best. Don't know if I succeed all the time, but I do try. All right. So Vision could be Watchmen's Dr. Manhattan. Dan, you got me thinking about Dr. Manhattan's dick now. And it's got that image in my head. I can't get it out. Hope you're happy. Ugh. Wouldn't that have been something if Vision walked out of that pod? He just had the big twig and berries swinging around. Not sure what Joss was thinking about there. I mean, was he actually going to show it? Would have been traumatizing. What do you think about Evan Peters being cast in WandaVision? With the success of Quicksilver and Fox's X-Men, could he possibly play Speed? I hadn't heard about that, actually. Give me 1 second. I gotta Google this. Because I knew Evan Peters was trending a little while ago. Evan Peters playing a mystery role in WandaVision. Huh. How about that? Boy, that would really be something if he was playing Speed, wouldn't it? Oh, and imagine if they got the Quicksilver actor from Age of Ultron. Imagine if he came back and they were suddenly in the same situation together. Wouldn't that be trippy? It's kind of like when you had Tony and Doctor Strange interacting together in Infinity War. And it's like they were both Sherlock, you know? And of course, they had that. Of course, no one ever actually said the line, "No shit, Sherlock." And how do you not go for that, you know? It's so weird. But that is cool. If he's playing Speed, I could get behind that. Didn't even know she was the Olsen twins' sister, but she's definitely a better actress than them. Yeah, their little sister. That is pretty shocking. Actually, you wouldn't know it. I mean, I guess she kind of looks like them, but wow, she is so much more talented than they are. Does she have everything under control? I suspect that Wanda has everything under control except herself, if that makes any sense. Like, she seems to be controlling the town, but she herself is out of control. Yeah. Wanda will be the next villain in the MCU Phase 4. Where was I? Because they just posted a number of posted a bunch of comments all at once, and I lost my place. I don't know about that. I think well, I guess there's this mini arc of WandaVision, and then going into Spider-Man 3, and then Doctor Strange 2. She could be, and again, I talked to Alex about this, I feel like she might be more of a catalyst for things to happen than a traditional villain. Because, you know, Wanda herself is not evil. She's just traumatized and out of control. But, yeah, so I don't know if you cast her as a typical villain, but I think bad things could potentially happen because of her. But if you're thinking about her being a villain in the same way that Thanos was, I doubt that. I doubt that. I think if we're looking for the next Thanos, I'm thinking someone like Galactus or Doctor Doom. I think it'll be one of those. Wow, I completely lost my place. No, wait, here we go. Here we go. Oh, wow, I'm at the top now. Gonna have to go a little quicker here because I gotta try to shoot that video tonight. Have you discussed who the witness and witness protection might be? I'm not sure that matters, really. I think he was just something to alert them to what's going on in the town. Maybe the witness just happened to be in there at the time. I'm not sure the identity of that person really matters. I'm in the minority as well on The Amazing Spider-Man. Cool, so there's 2 of us. Alright. Hear about GameStop. I've noticed that stock has been like a freaking roller coaster the last couple of days. I'd be terrified to buy GameStop stock right now, because it goes like up like $300 one day, then goes like down 200, then it's up 100, then it's down 200, then it's up like 300. I would be terrified to buy that stock right now. I don't even know what's causing this, really. I think fans are kind of messing with the market as a way to get back at like corporate billionaires or something. I haven't heard much about that, but it's nerve-wracking. Amazing Spider-Man 1, Homecoming, and Far From Home are my favorite Spider-Man movies. Not one of the Raimi movies on your list. Excellent. Amazing Spider-Man 1 was good. I enjoyed it, but didn't like the second one much. Yeah, they messed up with the second one. I don't make excuses for that movie. The first one I've always liked. Hot sauna will help drain things out. I don't know. Humidity tends to make it worse. I ask about defense of MCU Spider-Man because some people are still calling him Iron Man Jr. Maybe you could do a response to High Top Films MCU Spider-Man videos. Iron Man Jr., I mean, I get it. I do think it kind of takes away from Peter's hard luck hero thing, because that's a big part of Spider-Man's character in the comics. Like, the guy just can't catch a break. But there is also a story from the comics where Tony kind of took Peter under his wing for a while. So there is some basis for this in the comics. I understand them leaning into it in the movies because Tony was the face of the MCU for years. And now it's arguably Spider-Man. So I get it. I could do with them focusing on it a little bit less. But I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I can't really fault them for it because it's worked out financially for them. Dude, I watched Dark Crystal on your recommendation. The original I have in 4K and is amazing as always, but the Netflix show was amazing. Wasn't it great? I was blown away by Age of Resistance. Blown away. That show was glorious from start to finish. Kills me that it won't get a second season. But I mean, it had to have been like crazy expensive to produce. But my God, that show. That must have been like such a labor of love for like every member of the crew. Good Lord. Favorite series of all time? I don't know if I have an all-time favorite. I mean, my favorite tends to be whatever good thing I'm currently watching. All-time favorite, I mean, there's shows like Battlestar Galactica remake, Married with Children, Seinfeld, God. X-Files when it was still good. You know, it's stuff like that. It's not a question I give much thought to. The Simpsons, Futurama, stuff like that. Again, my favorites tend to change pretty often, depending on like the mood I'm in. There are only 6 episodes of Wink's series on Netflix, so they'll probably add more. I just started watching it. It's pretty decent. As usual, the romance scenes are nauseating. Yeah, the romance stuff doesn't really work. No, there's 6 episodes for now. As I understand it, I think one of the writers told somebody on Twitter that they were working on more. It has not been greenlit for a second season yet. That seems likely though, because I think it's been trending at #1 on Netflix. And I mean, it's a pretty short season. I can't imagine it's that expensive. Though they do have some big set pieces though. Yeah, the romance scenes are I don't need those. There are some interesting aspects to it though. I think Vision is going to realize that he's not alive and that Wanda is trapping the people of Westview in her reality, so he has to fight her in the finale to save everyone from her control. Wouldn't that be something? Like she restores Vision to life and then he has to fight her when she gets out of control? That'd be kind of heartbreaking, actually. But like who else is gonna rein Wanda in? If not Vision, then who? Okay. I think Wanda will lose her sanity a little bit and Doctor Strange comes in to stop her. And he's able to help her come to her senses. That would set up both of them and Doctor Strange too. Yeah, I think Doctor Strange could put in a cameo at the end there. And we're not there yet, but we do know that Wanda is in Doctor Strange too. So, you know, Stephen Strange could put in an appearance here. Smallville was amazing. Respectfully disagree. Yeah, Felicity did a real nosedive after season 2 or 3. I think she was good for the first 2 seasons. After that, it was mostly downhill. Alright. Thanos was good because he wasn't evil. He was doing it just because he was a monster. He was a monster and wanted to kill people. He did it because he legitimately believed it was the right thing for the universe. Yeah. It's that old saying, most villains don't believe that they're the villains. Like in their own way, they kind of think that what they're doing is the right thing. That's what made Thanos so interesting. Okay. Have you ever watched TMNT 2003 and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? The 2003 cartoon? Yes. It's great. I haven't watched all of it, but I saw like the first 2 seasons of it. First couple seasons of it. Very, very well done show. That's probably my favorite cartoon the Turtles have been in. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes was also great. It really pissed me off that they canceled it and replaced it with like a new Avengers show that sucked. I think it got canceled for the same reason they canceled Spectacular Spider-Man. It's like maybe it was a rights issue or Marvel wasn't producing it. Then Marvel started producing their own Spider-Man cartoons, their own Avengers cartoons, and they were terrible. Very frustrating. Okay. Are you looking forward to Stargirl? I'm actually interested to see where they go from season 1. Same with Black Lightning. I'm interested to see what happens when Stargirl comes back. I don't know if I'll be reviewing it. I might be too busy with other stuff. We'll see what the views are. I am very nervous now that it's exclusively on the CW. I'm afraid that the network is just going to ruin it. Because, you know, they're going to have a lot more sway with the producers. Hey, make it more like the Arrowverse shows or whatever. It's just... I'm afraid they're going to ruin it right when it got good. I'm not terribly optimistic. Is your hair long enough for a ponytail already? No, not yet. I actually trimmed it a little bit in the back. But no, we're not nearly there. I may cut it off again before it gets to that length, because the long hair was kind of an experiment. Which, I mean, I like the way it looked. It was a pain in the ass to deal with. I'm a lot more comfortable with short hair, honestly. Gamerman X9000, thank you for the $2. Did you know Batwoman has an HBO Max deal? What? Like the CW show, or are they making like a cartoon or something? Would they be putting like the CW's Batwoman on HBO Max? That's horrifying. Why even bother? I mean, it's on the CW website. You can just watch it for free. That's baffling. I don't even understand that sentence. Michael West with another 2 units of some European currency. Thank you. Doom and Black Panther 2. Also, the currency is UK. All right, cool. Doom and Black Panther 2. Is that confirmed? I haven't heard anything about Black Panther 2. I know they had to rewrite the whole thing because of Chadwick. I mean, I could see Doom in Black Panther 2 being like a cameo. Like Thanos had a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was just there for a minute. They could set up Doom that way, I guess. Because I can't see him being like a big deal in Black Panther. I mean, if he's going to be like a major villain, it's going to be in Fantastic Four. Because he's their guy. He's a Marvel villain, but he's a Fantastic Four villain. Okay. Do you think you'll ever check out Lucifer on Netflix? Maybe. I mean, it's been on for a while. It seems like a big commitment. And I wasn't really interested in it like up to this point. But I mean, anything's possible. I don't really feel a burning need to check it out. Apparently, it's been on for a while, so it's kind of intimidating. Should they add the X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now? Well, not yet. I mean, they gotta take their time and do it right. I mean, I can live with there being a couple of years before we get a new X-Men movie in the MCU. They're gonna have to set some things up first. I mean, they got to establish how mutants are a thing now when we've never seen them or heard from them before. And I talked to Alex about this as well. One possibility is that Wanda, now that her powers are expanding so much, maybe they could grow into like reality warping. Maybe she does something to the universe that changes it fundamentally, and that's how mutants become a thing. And I guess it's possible that mutants have always been a thing, and you can just say that their existence was kept secret because of X, Y, Z, whatever. But there are things to consider about that. And yeah, they couldn't be a thing before because they didn't have the rights. But do they do some kind of soft reboot of the universe to make mutants a thing, or you just say they've always been there? I don't know. I don't know what the right way to go is. But I don't think they need to put the X-Men in there immediately. I mean, they've got things lined up for the next little while. I guess Fantastic Four is going to come first. But I can deal with them not doing the X-Men immediately. Just take your time, do it right. Okay. Muppet Crossover. I'd be down for a Muppet Crossover, actually. Like Vision and Wanda doing like WandaVision doing a riff on the Muppets next. That'd be awesome. I wonder who is going to be cast as Rogue. Then, as it's X-Men and Fantastic Four, I'm going with Galactus for the big bad. I haven't watched any of WandaVision. What's the prognosis? Is it worth a watch? WandaVision takes a little while to get into. The first 3 episodes are very slow. They're setting up a lot of things, but you gotta get to episode 4 before they do the payoff. You may get a little impatient with it before then. If you can make it to episode 4, you should be fine, and I think you'll get a kick out of it from that point on, because that seems to be where the turning point is. But like the first 3 episodes are mostly just setting stuff up, and the pacing is admittedly slower than I would like. I think episode 4 made the wait worth it, though. All right, Immortal Sirens, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the $5. Love you in short hair. You are similar looking to my ginger hot friend, Lulz. What do you think of Heroes and American Gods? Thank you. I'm actually very fond of gingers. So I'll take that. American Gods I have never seen. I do have I have the American Gods audiobook. I listened to it like a third of the way through. I've never gotten around to finishing it for some reason. Heroes was wow. I watched Heroes when it was on back in the day. It was always I always found it interesting. I never thought it was that good, but it was interesting. There was something weirdly fascinating about the whole thing. And a fun fact, I actually, the first test video I made for this channel when I started it was a review of the Heroes pilot. I did it like Supergirl review style. And no one but me has ever seen that video. And if I ever get around to setting up that Patreon page, that'll be one of the upper tier rewards, like access to my original review of the Heroes pilot. Heroes, people always rave about season 1. I was of the, it was my opinion that season 1 wasn't all that good. They were good. It was certainly the best season they did, but I thought the cracks were clearly forming when everyone was still raving about it. I'm like, no, this doesn't really make sense, and I don't think they know what they're doing here, and that's just silly. And people are like, no, it's season 1, it's great, it's awesome. Like, no, guys, this is showing all the signs that they don't really know where they're going with it, and Yeah, I think the problems were evident very early on. I kept watching though, because like I said, there's just something weirdly fascinating and interesting about it. Even if it was just a guilty pleasure situation. Excuse me. Doctor Strange and Hawkeye could show up in WandaVision. Doctor Strange because he can actually stand up to her powers, and Hawkeye to actually get her to come to her senses, realize what she's doing. I guess Hawkeye might be able to do that. Haven't heard anything about Jeremy Renner appearing. I'm not sure how long ago they filmed this. Suppose it's possible. I guess he's one of the characters that could get through to her, potentially. Most shorted stock in history, and they have to pay it back. So apparently, it's going to go big on Monday. Oh well. I have been keeping an eye on GameStop. Hold on one second. Just out of curiosity, I haven't bought anything. GME. That is one crazy volatile week. Yeah, it went up like 200, like from like 150 to like 370 in one day. Or I guess, and then the day after that, it was up to like a 450, and then it went all the way down to like 150 within like an hour, and then it was back up to 370, and now I think it's around 320 something, and that's just in a couple days. I'm not sure what's affecting it, but that is a terrifying roller coaster to be on. Unless you were able to buy it low, like I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd even want to try getting in on that. Okay. How many comics have you read in the Marvel Universe? Well, I collected them for years. I got all my comics in long boxes here. I mean, they're lined up all around my apartment. I've got like I don't even know, like 10 or 12 long boxes. Because I never really got rid of them. I just hoarded them like a crazy idiot or crazy person, whatever. Yeah, I guess I just get attached to things. Yeah, I don't know how many I have, but quite a few long boxes. They take up entirely too much space, but just couldn't bring myself to get rid of them. Will you ever go on EFAP? Well, I've never been invited. I would love to go on EFAP if they wanted me. Haven't talked to those guys about it. All right, let's try to wrap this thing up because I gotta get something to eat and then I gotta turn my attention to that Winx video because that script actually turned out a lot longer than I intended. It's weird. Like I watched the show just to see if there was something in there I could review. I didn't think there was. I didn't have many strong opinions on it. And then I just kept hearing about it and people talking about it over and over. So I took another look and I'm like, actually, there's actually kind of a lot to talk about here. It was weird. What about the effects in Dark Crystal? Some of the best puppet animatronics ever. Can you imagine if LucasArts and Jim Henson's studio teamed up? If only, dude. If only. What do you think about the reboot again of Battlestar Galactica? Must say I don't want it because the last one was perfection, but I'll give it a watch. Is that still going forward? I believe it's the guy who did Mr. Robot, right? He's in charge of it. I don't know if enough time has passed. I'm weirdly ambivalent about it because the original remake of BSG was kind of open and shut. Like, they had a story, they told it all the way through, and they finished it, so I got closure on the whole thing. It's not like they were in the middle of something great and then they just got cut off when the network canceled them or something. It's not like Firefly. No, Battlestar, like, they told their story and they finished it. So there is a certain amount of closure there, you know? So in a way, I'm kind of open to the idea of them doing another one, because I feel like the Ron Moore remake is secure. They can't touch that. It's all set. You know, that's always going to be there. So I feel like if they're going to do a new version, this can just be a new thing, entirely its own thing, and it won't touch the Ron Moore version. That's solidified. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but I'm open to the idea of a different version. Maybe they could try doing a movie of it, you know? Because we've had the series. It was great. I feel like doing another series might just be just retreading old ground, unless you had a radically different take on it. Maybe try doing it as a movie. Okay, I think we have another super chat in here. NM. Thank you for the $5. One wonders how many magicians are out there that Mordo wouldn't be curious as to Wanda's reality bubble. That's true. Because Mordo has been going around killing magicians, I guess, as of the end of Doctor Strange. But it's... the question still remains, is what Wanda's doing actually magic, technically, or is it something else? Because, she was empowered by an Infinity Stone, so is this an extension of that, or have her powers, like, branched out into magical territory yet? Because if it's not technically magic, I don't know if Mordo would really care about this. Because he's focused on, like, the sorcerers. And if what Wanda's doing isn't actually magic, then, well, he may not care. And Immortal Sirens with another $2. Thank you so much. You guys are killing it with the super chats this week. Psylocke could beat Scarlet Witch. In a fight? Well, that's debatable. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat a telepath, because you don't really have any resistance against what they can do to you. Thing is, Psylocke always goes for, like, the melee weapons anyway, though. She doesn't really go for, like, mental attacks. She likes to just attack you with her fists and her like, psychic weapons and stuff. So, I mean, she could probably just shut down Wanda mentally, like make her go to sleep telepathically or something, but Psylocke always seems to want to just go for like a straight up fight. Like make a psychic knife and just try to beat you that way. It's not the best strategy against someone like Wanda, you know? just subbed. I love your honest and what the WTF personality. Lulz, keep on trucking cute stuff. Oh, thank you so much. All right. Batwoman is on HBO Max, unlike the other Arrowverse shows that are on Netflix. So HBO Max actually paid for Batwoman to air on their streaming service, despite the fact that the episodes are on the CW website for free. I don't understand that. Make that make sense to me, man. I just that is bizarre. Boy, where are we? Heroes Season 1 was great. Seasons 2 and 3 were poor, and 4 actually got the series back on track for me, but it was a little too late, I think, to save it. I think Season 4 was just weird. The whole traveling carnival thing, you could tell they were getting a little too, they thought they were being like really clever, but it was just weird stuff. I mean, Season 1 was certainly the best season they did. I honestly didn't think it was that good. It was just... It devolved into a guilty pleasure show pretty quickly. Heroes' biggest problem for me was they destroyed Peter's character and were too scared to kill characters off and just had them hang around, basically. Destroyed Peter's character? Not sure how they destroyed him. I think they made some bad decisions early on that required them to kind of soft reboot that character. Like, one of the big mistakes they made was having Peter able to retain all the powers that he copies. Because at that point, you just made him too powerful. Because when he retains every power, he becomes a walking Deus Ex Machina. And he's just a character who can fix every problem way too easily. So that's why they had to change his power to him only being able to copy one at a time. Because what they should have done at the start was him only being able to copy the powers of heroes that he's in close contact with, and when he's not close to another powered person, he can't do anything. Like, it should have stayed like that. Because he just became too powerful, they had to reboot him. And Hero is the same way. Because when you've got a character who can time travel, this person should be able to solve every problem they encounter very easily. So they kept having to depower him to stop him from doing that. They did this every season with Hero. Every season they're taking away his powers just so he can't fix everything. And you know, they couldn't kill him off because he was everybody's favorite character. So they were stuck. Okay. All right, let's try to wrap this up. I gotta get something to eat and rest my voice. Yeah, Hero got nerfed hard. Yeah, pretty much. Problem is, they just made him too powerful to start with. Peter too. Then they realized, oh wait, we've got two giant Deus Ex Machinas walking around. We got to deal with that. Because I guess the problem was originally the producers wanted like an entirely new cast of characters every season. Then it turned out people liked the season 1 cast, so we had to bring them back. But oh wait, we didn't plan to do anything with them beyond season 1. And now we've kind of got a problem on our hands if we want to use them. We want to continue using them. Yeah, but Hero can't control where he's going. Lulz. Newbie playing with the future. Lulz. No, he couldn't control where he was going at first. Eventually he did gain control of that. After that, it was... all they could do was depower him to stop him from fixing everything. They never thought to introduce unfortunate side effects to the OP characters, like time traveling is a bad idea, copying too many powers leads to some kind of overload. Yeah, like, having too many powers works for Sylar because he was the villain. You know, he's the mountain that everybody has to overcome. You can't do that with the good guys. It just makes things way too easy for them. That's what I meant by ruin Peter's character. They did it the wrong way around, like you said. Oh, okay. All right. One big issue with Heroes, in retrospect, is the way the DL exited the show. Yeah, I mean, I read a piece like a little while ago about that. Apparently, there was some kind of problem with the actor, like not that they had with the actor, but I guess Ali Larder didn't want to do intimate scenes with him, and they had trouble like figuring out what else to do with the guy or something. And I mean, I don't know how much mileage there really was in the character to begin with, but still, it's really unfortunate for him. Do you think Quicksilver can return to the MCU? Well, Vision's dead and they brought him back, so I don't see why not. And if Evan Peters is playing Speed, then yeah, bring Quicksilver back and give them a scene together, just for the sheer weirdness of the whole situation. Sure, bring Quicksilver back. Why not? Okay. All right. Gamerman X9000 with another $2. CW, Batwoman, and SNL, Superman and Lois. HBO Max deal means increase in budget. Does it? Well... You know, I shudder to think what Batwoman would do with more money. Because, I mean, but the show already seems so cheap as it is. I mean, I guess it might look a little better, but that's like giving them more rope to hang themselves with. I mean, Superman and Lois already looks like it has a fair amount of money attached to it. I mean, the trailer looked fairly cinematic, I guess. Not sure more money is needing more money is their problem. But God, if they're paying Batwoman more money, oh man, that's just going to extend the show's lifeline even more. I mean, you just depressed the hell out of me with that news. All right. Is there anything else here I need to talk about? I've read a ton of comics. Do you think that MCU is matching up with the original comic storylines? That's why I liked Hulk. X-Men was horrific, and Wolverine, I'm sorry, a complete joke. Which X-Men was horrific? I mean, MCU has certainly taken pages from certain stories from the comics. When you say you liked Hulk, do you mean Ang Lee's Hulk? I kind of have a soft spot for that movie, too. And X-Men, as in the original Bryan Singer X-Men? I mean, granted, it was... They were clearly working on a tight budget, but considering what they had to work with, I thought the movie was very good. Stargirl will be on HBO Max, so maybe an increase in budget. Well, you know, if you want to throw more money at Stargirl, go ahead. I mean, they had some pretty big set pieces in season 1, though, so I'm not sure they need more money. Seemed like they were doing just fine with what they had, but Stargirl is a show I would trust with an increased budget, because they seem to know what they were doing by the end of season 1. And Immortal Sirens, thank you for the further $2. Wow. Got a lot of super chats this week. Holy moly. Sorry, I just thought you would want to know. Oh, no, it's fine. And I'm happy to be informed. It's just the news is depressing to me. Have you watched the Titans? No, I have not. Which streaming platform is that on now? Is it DC Universe? I think I got enough streaming services for right now. God, for so long I only had Netflix. That was the only one I wanted to pay for because I'm trying to keep my expenses low. But then I had to get Hulu to review some stuff. Then I had to get HBO Max to review Wonder Woman 84. And now I had to sign up for Disney Plus because I had to review WandaVision and all the other Marvel shows. And I guess I'm going to have to watch The Mandalorian at some point. I still have not seen The Mandalorian. Partly because I wasn't ready to return to Disney Star Wars yet. But now that I've got Disney Plus, I guess I don't have an excuse anymore. I feel like that's enough streaming services for right now. I don't feel the need to get any more. But, you know, we'll see. You never know, I guess. Guys, I think that's going to be it for now. I got to get something to eat and rest my voice a little bit. And then I'm going to set the green screen up and try to record that review of Fate the Winx Saga. Because the script is actually pretty long. I got to take another look at that. Because it turned out I actually did have kind of a lot to say about that show. So I don't know when that'll happen, when I'll be able to get that uploaded. Assuming I get it recorded tonight, which I'm not sure I will, I might be able to get it out by Monday if I can finish editing it before Batwoman airs on Sunday night. I'd have to put a rush on the whole thing. If I don't get it out by Monday, maybe the day after, I don't know, because once the new Batwoman episode airs, I'm going to have to turn all my attention to that, and that's pretty much what I'll be doing until Wednesday morning. Because those things just take a lot of time to make. Not because there's a ton of work involved, it's just really tedious and stressful, because I spend a lot of time writing the scripts, and then it takes a long time to shoot, and a long time to edit. There's nothing really difficult about that, it's just tedious work, you know? And it's just time-consuming. So we'll see. I don't know when exactly you guys will get that video, but I'm working on it. I've got the script written. I may try to touch it up a little bit. I'm going to try to shoot it tonight. Don't quote me on that, but we'll see. So thank you, everyone who tuned in for the stream today. And a thank you to all our super chatters. Manohar Rajan, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Michael West, John Wheeler, thank you. Gamerman X 9000, thank you. Manohar Rajan again. Jokash 13, thank you. Michael West again. John Wheeler again. Gamerman X 9000 again. Michael West. Got a lot of repeat super chats in here. Wow. Thank you so much. Immortal Sirens, thank you. NM, thank you. Immortal Sirens again. Gamerman X 9000. And Immortal Sirens again with another $2. Guys, thank you so much for the super chats. This is very helpful. Very helpful because, you know, ad revenue has been down the last couple of months. So every little bit helps. So thank you again so much. I will talk to you very soon, if not in the Fate the Winx Saga video, then in the Batwoman review, and then the Winx video after that. And then I will see you again on Saturday for WandaVision Episode 5. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I will talk to you soon. Thanks again for the super chats, and bye for now. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.